It is today, my dudes. In an earlier video, I let sink through that I would be taking this channel to the next level. And in this video, I thought I would tell you what the fuck I actually mean by that in a series of related announcements. This is a list of announcements that I'm going to make, so you know what you're in for, and you know that you can skip around probably. Discord server, DTube, Maker Support, Audiobooks channel, short story series, The Spy Who Shot Me, and finally, the Shadowrun campaign. First of all, something that has been asked for by so many of you cunts is a Discord server, and I am proud to say that I have delivered, and you can now find a link to the Discord server in the video description of this video and also all future videos. I would also very much like some suggestions and ideas as to how to run this thing, because I've never run a Discord server before. I don't know what to do. Well, I haven't run a Discord server this size before, let's put it like that. So I know very few people who, you know, I know and trust personally sufficiently, and who actually also know anything about Discord, but I will be picking staff, so my selection process will be completely stupid and arbitrary. Next announcement, henceforth every single one of my videos will also be posted to DTube, probably always a day later than the YouTube thing, because I have to play around with the size of the video and all that to get that sorted. My most popular video is already on there, and I do plan on eventually uploading the rest of my back catalog to the place, but right now it's just that one. So do go subscribe to my DTube channel. Link is in the doobly-doo. Next up is the announcement that I am now officially on Maker Support, and I'm also verified on Maker Support, because I'm such a famous boy, right? So if you want to support me financially, you know, you can still do this over PayPal, but you can also do this over Maker Support, and please do support me financially, because the financial safety net that I have currently will, I predict it will be running dry over the coming months. I mean, you don't have to if you don't want to, if you can't, if you don't have the means, if you just, you know, you don't give people money on principle, if you don't give me money, I don't know, it's whatever your reason is. But if you do want to give me money, you can do it on Maker Support. I will never, ever be taking money on Patreon. I am giving some people money on Patreon, which may be a little bit hypocritical, considering my very public boycott of the site. It's just that those are the people who I think deserve my money more than Patreon doesn't. The point being, I will never take money on Patreon, and you shouldn't wait for me to take money on Patreon. As of now, I am Maker Support exclusive, and I will be not on Patreon exclusive forever. I am open to suggestions as to supporter tiers on the thing, because I think you can get those on Maker Support. But I do have a lot, so leave those on the Discord server or in the comments below, but I do have a lot of ideas on what I will do with the money. I want to get some studio lights, I want to get a better camera. Primarily I want to get a mic stand that can, well, be taller than me without also standing on a table and still not being taller than me. But I really, long term, want to get a better camera. Right now I'm filming on my webcam. It's acceptable, but it's not really where I want to go quality-wise. I also have a lot of ideas for videos that I would do for which I would have to buy stuff, which isn't necessarily like hugely expensive, but also not throwaway cheap. There's some fun ideas, but I'd prefer to keep them mysterious, and let you guys wait and stew in anticipation of what I might do. This one is probably a long way off, but I would like to eventually get custom artwork for all the short stories I upload to Who Is Betty, which is something that is actually quite expensive. Even with the new model we will talk about later. You know, it's done on the regular, like, big artwork. It's not exactly on the cheap side. So I don't think it's gonna happen this year unless I just get successful beyond my wildest imagination, which somehow I don't think will happen. Speaking of Who's Betty, if you don't even know what that is, It's my second channel where I upload the audiobooks to the short stories that I write in my apparently quite acceptable voice. If you don't like audiobooks on principle, there's always also written versions available of everything. Just look in the description for those. At this point, it's got like 350 subscribers, I think, and it's, you know, it's like 30 short stories. And I'm constantly working on more because being an author is, aside from the YouTube game, which I just deeply enjoy doing, viscerally, is that I want to be an author. I mean, technically speaking, I am already an author. It's just always the thing where you know, it's how you define which point you are an author. Some people say that if you've ever written any piece of fiction, you're an author. Some people say that not even Stephen King is an author, which I would say those people are a bit stupid in the head. For the longest time, I have been somewhat inconsistently uploading one story every week, every Wednesday, but I feel that many of them came out half-baked or just flat out just shit, bland, or some even unfinished, I think. And therefore, I will be switching to every second Wednesday as a release date. I just really want to increase the quality of my work. That's something that's very dear to me in all regards, all aspects of my work. Still staying on the audiobooks, this month is a very, very special month. I mean, February, I mean, not March, even though this is about the March announcements. Because it is the publication of a series of 4 short stories called A Day in the Life of Hugo Hendriks, which I have been working on for, I don't know, 2 or 3 years, I think. It's an explicitly non-subtle dystopian sci-fi series that describes the same day of the same characters in 4 different dystopian futures, right? Already out are The Honored One, The White Knight, The Section Chief, and the one that is going to be published today on that channel is The Balance Keeper, and I think those 4 are a very good start to the publishing year this year, to, you know, the year that I published things this year. Moving on from there to another project that I have lent my voice to, The Spy Who Shot Me, right? Is a game that I have several voice roles in, and while shooters aren't generally my cup of tea, I have to admit that this one's pretty fucking funny. It's got that dry and quite absurdist British humor going for it, and it has this really interesting low poly aesthetic, which makes me kind of nostalgic for the times where I was playing Ocarina of Time on my GameCube. Also, the developer sits in Scotland, and I do consider Robert the Bruce to be my breakout role, with which I broke out. Not of prison. That wasn't even a joke. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't even... I didn't even have any joke planned. That was just bad. Speaking of games, the Shadowrun campaign is moving, not to a new channel, but to an old channel, which you may or may not know about, probably not. It's called Bear Arms, and it was my very, very first YouTube channel, which, well, technically was created after this one, because this one was, at the time, the channel I used to be on YouTube, not as a YouTuber, but as someone who consumes YouTube content. Bear Arms was a gaming venture that I half-heartedly pursued with a very good, very dear friend of mine named Karas, and we both put content on there. We just didn't put a lot of content on there, and, you know, it just petered out eventually. The channel has been dead for quite a while, I think over a year, because none of us have actually uploaded anything to it. But I am very excited, and we are very excited to sort of revive it, and we will continue to run the tried and true kitchen sink approach that has worked for us so far. In addition to the usual Overwatch content, which will be mostly provided by Karas, who plays like a fucking demigod and is 1,000 times better as a source of advice than Stylosa, I will be uploading my tabletop stuff there, which right now is primarily Shadowrun, though I have some other plans for like one-shot things, which you guys might be able to get involved with. But right now, the focus is very much on the Shadowrun Paris campaign. Link, of course, is in the description. I think that should be everything. I will put, maybe, possibly, if I am not too lazy, put a comment down below, which I will pin with the timestamps to the relevant announcements, if you want to skip around, but I am very lazy. Thank you so much for being the people who made me soar as high as I am soaring right now, and who continue to animate me to push, to make new content and better content, right? This is something I'm very thankful for this situation. This is not a usual situation for people to be in. And I didn't expect this situation to come about. Seriously, I always dreamed of it, but I never thought this is probably gonna happen. Didn't think it would, but now it has, and it's all thanks to you. So, you know, you're all very special to me, and your being there is very much appreciated. So, until the next video, which might even come out this week, I'm feeling very productive. See you around, cunts!